welcome to the Detox stream. I am the Expert Layman. I'll be playing a few games. I'm going to be different than I have in the past and not talk forever before I play. I am actually going to get right in to this. And okay, the title. Always technical stuff. It's Nested Games and the Omega Wolf. And now the Omega Wolf sounds pretty cool. It's really not. It's basically the guy who can't seem to follow the rules and ends up being like the whipping boy for the pack. And basically, fear of becoming the Omega Wolf drives one of the nested games within Rocket League and a lot of other games. I used to think it was that you know, everybody wants a decent score, but there's a subset of people that just kind of know that they're at the bottom of whatever, or trying to fight their way out of it. And the best way, if you're afraid that you're basically the redheaded stepchild type character, the best strategy is to try to like cast that role onto somebody else. So when I thought people are just like, they just want the highest score so they can be the coolest, it's like they don't actually care about having the highest score. They just want to make sure somebody else has a lower score than them, because, you know, in the subconscious like architecture, that then they're not the Omega Wolf. Well, I was planning on doing this while I was playing, but for some reason, can't seem to get into a game. And nested games is kind of a game theory thing, and it's not really that complicated. It's one of those things that everybody kind of already understands, but if you want to like do anything with it, you got to get into the nuts and bolts, and that's what game theory is really good at. So a nested game is, let's say, I don't know, you're playing Rocket League, but you want to try to get aerials. That, you know, that's what you're working on right now. So the main game that you're playing is Rocket League, but you have this nested game within it where you're trying to accomplish a particular goal, and this is really common. And there's usually nothing wrong with it. Unfortunately, oh, I need to turn that down. But for the really toxic people, I guess I'm saying that the nested game is the avoiding becoming the Omega Wolf, or trying to make someone else that scapegoat. And it's been really toxic today. I played a little bit earlier. Holy crap. Part of that's on me, because you put YouTube after your name, you're kind of asking for it. But there are certain people where it's like, from the beginning of the game, that was like their goal from the beginning. As soon as they see YouTube, oh, that's it. That's the game they're playing. They're not playing Rocket League. And like in the description, sorry. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I'm not calling toxic just yet. Oh, he aimed that right at his own goal. Yeah, that was totally toxic. There was no reason to attack the ball that direction. Like, zero. That was just, at best, that was the thing where people just want to touch the ball at any cost. But the fact that it was literally aimed right at his own goal, that was like tier 5 of toxicity. Oh, he's aiming right at his own goal. Funny, I called it. Like, as soon as he saw that YouTube, he's like, nope, I know what I'm doing this game. So yeah, you got an example of the Omega Wolf here. Now, the YouTube thing is just like a lightning rod for a lot of different stuff. Like, another game people will play is when you want to be toxic, but you don't want to own your toxicity. Like, it's okay to respond. If someone's being toxic to you, it's okay to be toxic back to them. So they kind of play with The example I've used a bunch of times. Oh, and grinding meaning 10. One of my other streams, titled. Yeah, I have the resources to do both these things at the same time. Road Rage, Scapegoats, and Projection. That was grinding meaning 10. I reference Rocket League a lot in that because the phenomena of road rage and like toxic players is pretty much the same phenomenon, just in a different context. Because the road ragers are typically people who occupy the lower end of whatever social hierarchies they engage with. And when they're out on the road, yeah, look at that effort to get back. They're trying to find someone else to treat as the Omega Wolf. Because, like, internally, they kind of feel that they are. Because, like, if you're... like, your opinion of your own status doesn't match how people are treating you, you'll start to, like, feel like that. Like, you'll feel like you're the Omega Wolf. Like, you're the lowest person on the totem pole, and everybody just craps on you. There's some videos that people really don't understand where, like, there'll be a wolf pack in a confined area, and they'll just all start... It looks like they're trying to kill this one wolf, and it looks really mean and stuff, and it's like, you gotta remember, if they wanted him dead, he'd be dead, you know? Yeah, they've been fucking with him for, like, 5 minutes or whatever, nipping at him and growling, and it looks freaking violent. It looks like a murder is taking place. But like I said, like, if they want him dead, he'd be dead. The reason they're doing that is he's not following the rules for some reason. And one of the videos I saw specifically, that dumbass was grooming the alpha female. Like, you don't do that. It's not the alpha female's job to tell him not to. But like the alpha male comes around, it's like, the fuck you doing, dude? And then, like, all the other packs are like, oh, it's go time. It's also a way that, like, if the pack is really stressed, if you've put yourself into the role of Omega Male or Omega Wolf by not following the rules, when the pack gets stressed, guess who gets to eat that? That's your job. You can kind of see how it relates to, like, humans. We haven't changed that much. Another thing about wolves, and since subconscious aggression is kind of my hobby horse, watching wolves like growl at each other and stuff, it's like, oh my god, they're so aggressive. It's like, that's super social. That, like, they don't have words, they got to do it with body language and freaking showing teeth and growling and acting like they're going to murder somebody. But there's a whole set of wolf ethics, like no matter how bad a wolf screws up, as long as he shows the proper submission, the alpha usually won't take him out. But if he's just, like, not acknowledging his mistake, or, like, you'll see this on the Dog Whisperer where he's trying to train a dog and the dog just keeps doing the avoidance thing where they hide or run or whatever. Like, that just makes it last longer because they don't want that role. And when they don't, a lot of times that's when the pack jumps in, is when the Omega Male isn't taking his correction properly from the alpha. But I guess my point is, we still do that, and it's really not that different. We just add layers and layers of abstraction to our aggression, so it doesn't feel like aggression, but it still is. And to be fair, like, when I talk about subconscious aggression and all this, like, people get uncomfortable, and they probably should, because these aren't things you typically think about. A neurotypical healthy person doesn't normally notice this kind of stuff a whole lot unless it's really bad, and that's kind of the way it should be. But my development was a little different. I had to consciously figure out a bunch of stuff that people do, automatically, so I have some conscious access to that stuff. But I find it interesting. It's also like when I started, like, playing Rocket League and kind of hit the limit of what I could do with my 46-year-old brain and hands that have been, like, had the crap beat out of my manufacturing for a few decades. A few decades actually, yeah. I got to find my gains elsewhere. And I just kept running into this phenomenon. And it was, I don't know, I guess I got more fixated on that than improving at Rocket League. Mega Wolf, Nested Games. This is what happens when I don't have an outline. Oh, but I feel a lot of pity for the people. That's why it doesn't really get under my skin a whole lot. Because I know if they're acting out this way, like their life outside the game can't be going very well. And that's different from a troll. Because everybody's like, oh, trolls, you know, they're just these angry people. Well, sometimes trolls are really happy people that just enjoy screwing with other people as a pastime. But, and you probably should, like, if you haven't seen the Psychology of Toxicity, basically my first Rocket League stream. Oh, did you really need to beat me to the ball? You couldn't, like, match me because there was nobody in goal. When nobody's in goal, you want to hit that ball at the same time so you know it, like, goes in the goal. But some people are just so heat up and competitive that they will try to beat anybody to the ball that might be getting there at the same time, and they don't make any distinction whether that person's a teammate or not. Oh my god. If you're not going to do anything, at least get out of the way. I was trying to make him center it for us, but he got too much of it. Yeah, I could have been better on that, but... Oh. But yeah, for some people the nested game is really just trying to pass the hot potato of who's the Omega Wolf. Is that my own teammate? Nope. That's a nice move, actually. Something I would do. It's funny, yeah, they seem to be disappearing for the other end of the field quite a bit and making half-ass runs at the ball. That's the drive-by is like the most common for cryptotoxic maneuver, to where you act like you're going to go for the ball and then you just keep going. And it really throws your teammates off. So on the replay, it looks like your teammate's just a moron. What you can't see in the replay is that you faked your teammate out by calling the ball, by heading straight at it, and then veering off. Or only making a half-assed effort. Which I will do sometimes. Like, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, sometimes I will, like, go for something I know I can't get, just because I want to intimidate the person into taking a worse shot, or hurrying their shot, or something like that, or just like, it's like playing basketball. Like, the hand in the face makes a difference. Not this time. Just hit at your own goal. I honestly didn't think I saved that. I thought that was somebody else. I wonder if I just grazed it and then he saved it. But I suppose I still have to make a redirect strong enough to keep it from going in the goal to get credited for the save. Funny, I'd planned on streaming today, but then I don't really watch that many of Sunless Khan's videos, but like I like him. I suppose I could explain why I like him. Oh. And it all has to do with my daughter's boyfriend. Maybe this is too personal. Ah, well. I'm a nobody. I can get away with it. As I was discovering, like getting a much better handle on how, like, the subconscious aggression worked and how people behave, it started to become clear that basically, like, I started to get scared that I was becoming cynical. Because the more I learn, the more people kind of seem to be, like, more people seem to be more garbage. Including myself. Because, like, you become aware of, like, subconscious aggression. If you're doing it right, you kind of realize that you're doing all the same stuff too. Maybe not to the same degree. Come on. That doesn't draw you into a cooperative play. Nothing will. And I was actually becoming seriously concerned that I was just becoming, like, cynical and on the road to nihilism. But then my daughter's boyfriend came into the play. And he damn near lived here for, like, a while. And I'm going to tell you what. I put this motherfucker under every lens I have at my disposal. I got nothing.
60 seconds left on the
like,
clock.
literally. Like, I could not... Like... It was very strange. And this is the guy I had more motivation to find problems with than any human ever. Because it's basically like your first serious, like, boyfriend. And I realized there's people out there where, like, bitterness and malice, it's just not... It's basically just... It's like a gear they don't have in their transmission. Somebody be challenging a shot there. I always forget, like, when I come into ranked, I'm typically playing with worse people. Now he wants to forfeit. Whoops. Yeah, because that made all the difference. That totally changed the outcome of the game. And I had nothing on this guy. And it was actually really amazing, because he has, like, this effect on people, because he just won't... Well, growing up in northern Alaska, they make them different up there. It's just, they're just not... They just can't take all this stupid BS down here seriously. Like, oh, that's nice. You know? And I sense some of that in Sunless Khan. And so I watch his videos sometimes, mostly just because when you watch somebody try to do something they're bad at, it's typically very funny. When he tries to, like, I don't know, be toxic, his incompetence at it is just adorable. And he's good at telling stories, and he's got a nice voice, you know, that, like, he just feels like a friendly person. But I saw that he was doing a thing where he got on Twitter and said, hey, I'm going to be playing with random people. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably check. And he said, just tweet him, and he might get to you. And play with him today. But I'm a fairly weird individual, so I wouldn't fault him a bit for looking at my channel and being like, no, I don't think so. But if I bail on the stream, like, suddenly, that's probably what it is. But those people are in game too, and it's really interesting playing with those people, because they can be playing with someone who is, like, just short of own goaling. Like, their play is so unbelievably toxic. Come on, you think you have the open goal? That should have made you more aggressive. Like, and they literally can't see it. And it has to do with, like, your ability to model things. It's, like, very difficult to model things. Like, it's like malevolence. Like, intentionally, like, doing harm to people. You would not be capable of understanding malevolence if you weren't capable of it at least a little bit. You have, and this is where people, oh, I'm turning this into a granny meaning stream, sorry. Well, I'll try to finish. No, it's better not to go down. I want to keep my worlds apart here. But they just can't see it because they can't model that behavior. Like, people feel bad when they have, like, thoughts. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe I thought that. I must be a bad person. Only a bad person would think something like that. It's like, well, you kind of need to be able to do that. Otherwise, you can't model the behavior in other people. Like, when somebody just does something completely horrible to you, and it just rocks your world, it's basically because you were naive. Heard it said that, like trauma, like psychological trauma, typically, is the process of you becoming less naive. But if you don't understand how evil, you've never had an... So I guess I would say it's totally okay to have malevolent thoughts and petty thoughts and childish thoughts and, like, thoughts you would think evil if you saw other people exposing them. It's not the thinking it that's bad. If you act it out, it's bad. You actually need to be able to conceive of it, because just like the players, like, it's like, I love Sunless Khan, but he doesn't have a clue about what toxicity is about. He really doesn't. As he shouldn't. And like I said, you know, neurotypical healthy people aren't supposed to notice this stuff so much. But some people are just, like, so Sunless Connie that they can be playing with someone who is just passing to the other team over and over again, doing drive-bys, and in their mind, oh, they just screwed up, you know, 17 times, and all of them happened to screw me. It was just accidents, and they're not dumb. They just don't have the ability to model that type of behavior. I guess this is going pretty good. I guess I had this weird idea that, like, I wanted to stream today, but I'm like, oh man, what if this is like, well, one way to make sure that I get that message is it'll come while I'm streaming, but that hasn't happened, so kind of like a manipulation of Murphy's Law. Like, what's the worst time that I could get good news? Oh, in the middle of a stream. Maybe I should stream. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this another short one. But I would, and I'll try to remember to put it in the description. I'll put a link to the grinding meeting where I talk about Rocket League and Road Rage a lot. I get into, like, quite a bit more detail. But yeah, when someone is getting, like projecting and then, you know, it gets really obvious when they're being super toxic, like they just keep passing to the other team, like, and you getting dunked on because they're screwing you. And then you're just like, screw it, I'm not gonna hang out at my end of the field if all you're gonna do is switch teams when you get on your own end of the field. And that's kind of what it is. Like, there's like a mental switch. Oh, how did I not demo him? And almost all of this is subconscious. Because nobody thinks they're the bad guy. Everybody has some rationale of why they're the injured party, you know. That was okay. I mean, nobody's being toxic here. I'm not bothered by, like, missing the ball. If I was, I would hate myself. But as far as I can tell, this Cosmic Python guy, he's just toxic in chat. And I don't care about toxicity in chat. Those are just words. It's like the lowest resolution form of communication. Oh my god. Oh. I have my freaking gigabit internet. I have like a latency of 1 to the local hub. But I still get that crap. There's one nice thing about having gigabit internet. You know it's not you. If there's like a connection problem or lag or anything, you're running like 1 gigabit fiber optic, it's not you. Okay, little toxic. Yeah, I think I'm going to finish up this one and get out. He really needs somebody else to be the Omega Wolf right now. Oops. Look at him. He's like, it's not me, not me. I'm not it. He really needs somebody else. Like, he's basically, when I see people do that, it's like, oh, okay. And everywhere but Rocket League, he is basically the redheaded stepping child, and this is where he's trying to make it up, so. I just kind of have some pity. Like, somebody who's like, who likes themselves can't behave that way. It just doesn't work. I want to thank you for joining me. I had fun. Hopefully I'll be getting a DM. Probably not. Like I said, bit of a weirdo. Can't fault him for staying clear. But you all have a great weekend. I will see you all later.